Hello everybody, I'm back today with another Sketches by Allison layout. So I am going to be using these beautiful hexagons, and I'm starting with sketch number 1 in the hexagon sketch bundle, which I will leave a link to in the description box. So you can see here, I'm just making sure that my largest hexagon is going to cut my pictures, and it's actually going to cut 2 of them really well, and then the third one I'm going to leave square, that one, because I was just cutting off too much of my niece's head, and I felt like I could quite easily adjust the sketch, make it my own, and keep one of the photos square. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be working with 49th and Market's Elena collection. So again, I am trying really hard to do a spending freeze this month, which basically means I'm going to dig into my stash and dig into products and collections that I haven't gotten a chance to use much of. And this is one of those collections. I do have a good amount. I mean, but not a ton. So I purchased this kit while I was kind of discovering that I don't like to be overwhelmed with product from a certain collection. So I don't have all of the products from this line, just the ones I knew I would use, that I knew I would love. And that makes putting layouts together or projects together with this line really easy. I can easily go through these papers. I'm not overwhelmed. If you saw my layout couple last week with the squares, and I was talking about how the Spectrum Sorbet collection, I bought way too much of it, and I have so much of it that I still feel like super overwhelmed when I pull it out. That is not the case with this collection. I have just a wonderful amount of it. One of the things I bought as part of this collection was the fabric tape. I love 49th and Market's fabric tape, and sometimes I do go ahead and grab a package to go with a collection, and sometimes I skip it. Depends on how I feel, I guess. So I got this fabric tape, and I am making myself a bit of patterned paper. So I'm taking all the different patterns of the fabric tape. I'm just lining it up onto this sheet of white cardstock. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and die cut some of my hexagons, well, a bunch of hexagons, out of this paper. This fabric tape and die cutting it gave me some extra texture, a little bit of something different, fun patterns on my hexagons to play with. And the fabric tape cut like butter. It cut perfectly, and my Sizzix switch didn't give me any trouble at all. Speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and hop off camera and do a whole bunch of die cutting. So I've die cut all the hexagons that I need, and now I'm grabbing some Big Mama foam tape from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I'm going to pop up my square photo. I figured since it was a different shape than the other 2 photos that I could go ahead and give it a little bit of a prominent place. So I'm going to put it right in the middle of my layout and then build around the square photo. I also grabbed my hexagon punch. The hexagon punch is smaller than any of the metal dies that I used, and I'm going to use it to punch some hexagons from those 2 sheets of paper you see there, just as little layering pieces as I create my layout. I got the top and bottom hexagons as straight as I could, and then I left that middle square photo kind of just ever so slightly askew, again, just for some difference, interest. Now I'm taking all of those hexagons that I die cut from the fabric tape, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of place them around the layout. I'm starting with the largest hexagons. Now the fabric tape that comes with this collection is a little bit dark, which is why I pulled in those 2 real kind of lighter patterns to layer on top to kind of break up the layout, so it didn't look so harsh with the dark fabric tape against the white cardstock. And then I also went ahead and made sure that some of the hexagons were kind of floating off of my page, just to kind of reinforce this diagonal design. At this point, I kind of glanced over and remembered that I really wanted to add this laser cut piece that looks like string wrapped around something. I wanted to add it to the bottom of the square photo, and I had totally forgotten about it, so I'm going to ever so carefully add it now. Then I went ahead and punched a whole bunch of these smaller hexagons, and I'm just going to sprinkle them around my layout to kind of fill in and fill out these clusters and adhere them down. At this point, I am following more the vibes of the sketch. I don't know. I'm off right now. I'm not following the sketch too much anymore. So I'm looking at my page, and I feel like I need something along that right side. So I went ahead and grabbed this branding strip from one of my papers, and I'm going to place it along the right side of the page. I really felt like it needed that. It needed a little something off to that right to balance all of the stuff we've got going on the left. And now I'm going to go ahead and start kind of filling in with some embellishment. So I'm just placing some of the laser cut elements from this collection into a couple of spots. I love that word that says Sweetest, and that's going to act as my title. And I'm just going to leave it like that. I thought about adding more. It's like I have the die cut, the rub-ons, but nothing was really fitting. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that title. And then there's that end piece. So I'm just making sure I like this, that there isn't anything more I want to add, but I really, really do. I'm enjoying, I love the clusters. I love that I chose a white background because it's really helping to let all the colors kind of pop. And then I really, really do believe this page needed that little strip of color along the right side, just for balance, just to balance everything out. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to adhere everything basically exactly where you see it. Thank you all so much for joining me today. If you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I know we have gotten a few new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and I'm so happy you are here. If you are new to my channel, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. I do post quite regularly here. You will find loads of content, and I hope that it inspires you to get your pretty paper out and play.